What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Hardcast. We are starting season 3, episode 1. New year, same old us, post LobsterCon break. My name is Bradley Stone, and I am joined today by the mastermind of Duress Crew, Jay McCown. Say hello.
Hello, everybody. How is it going? I am on another episode. You guys just can't get away from me.
Indeed. Well, we don't want to get away from you because you've been doing a lot of amazing things for this community lately, and especially for the crew. You brought us the stream at LobsterCon, and now you are bringing us the future of the Premodern Championships.
Yeah, so we got a lot of exciting stuff. A couple of days ago, we announced that we were going to be doing a Kickstarter, and this is going to be the future of the North American Premodern Championship, everybody. So if you're not already aware, previously we have been running for the past 2 years. We've been running the LobsterCon Premodern Edition, which is a fun charity event that is the home of the North American Premodern Championship. And people definitely, well, how do we put this? We need a bigger boat.
Yes, we've been needing a bigger boat.
True.
We knew that we needed a bigger boat last year. For some of our listeners right now, this stuff is going to be obvious, but we're putting it in the frame of reference for those who might not be up to date, those who are coming in new and fresh into all of this. Last year, we sold out LobsterCon in 90 seconds. 324 slots gone, 90 seconds, another 200 in about 2 minutes. Leading up to the event, we knew that the Dante, where LobsterCon has been held, was going to be a little bit on the small side, but we never anticipated the hype and the enthusiasm that was going to, and the fervor, I guess I should say, that was going to go into that day one of selling tickets. So there was a lot of complaints. There was a lot of crushed dreams. A lot of people who were looking to get into their first LobsterCon, their first North American Premodern Championship, were unable to buy tickets.
Or their sixth.
Yes, or their sixth. And a lot of returning people who had always had a spot at the table found themselves without. And we got a lot of crap for it, for sure. It's partially rightfully so.
Just get a bigger venue, guys.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Exactly. And that was the main piece of feedback we got, was get a bigger venue. So here we are, kicking off this Kickstarter, attempting to do that very thing.
Yeah, so I'm sure people are probably wondering, like, why do you need a Kickstarter now? What's that different? Can't you just get a bigger venue but not spend that much more money? I think a lot of people don't realize how good of a deal the Dante cuts us.
Right.
We pay almost nothing for the Dante. So, and as you go in the middle of a city like Boston and you start looking at event spaces that can hold more people than the Dante, which is already a decently sized venue, you go exponential real fast. For the frame of reference, for people just so that they know, like the main venue that I've been kind of talking with, when I first approached them, the price that they quoted me was over $63,000. That is for the venue alone, nothing else, no staff to run it, no security, no event insurance, no nothing. So, I mean, we can go a little bit more into the numbers later on and talk about some of the ways that maybe we can get those numbers down and make things a little bit better. But at the end of the day, this is going to be an expensive event.
Yeah.
I think there's really no way around that. And frankly, we just don't have the capital up front to put down for, because any venue is going to require a down payment. And we just don't have that kind of, we don't have, $40,000, $30,000 just throw for a down payment. Now, I'm sure some people will be like, well, just, get a loan. And we've even had people reach out to us being like, oh, we can spot you money. But if we take a loan from somebody for $40,000 and then aren't able to sell enough tickets, we still owe somebody $40,000.
Exactly.
So whether that's the venue or just a third party that's handing us a loan, we still need to be able to make sure that we're not like having to, everybody in the Duress crew takes a mortgage out, a second mortgage on their house, because it's just not it's not worth it for us at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say that we shopped around at a lot of different venues already. We explored a lot of options, and we ultimately arrived at the Kickstarter because it takes so much of the liability off of us. We're not going to lose our shirts doing this. We hope that it succeeds. We need the community to show up and ensure that it succeeds. But for us, this is essentially the safest method that we could have gone with, all things considered.
Yeah, and I actually, to kind of expand on something again for people that maybe are unfamiliar with Duress Crew, with what we do, we are just a community of some guys and girls that play Magic, and we're just a bunch of friends in the Worcester area of Massachusetts that started running weeklies for Premodern, and then we had the store approach us and be like, "Hey, do you guys want to run like a quarter, a bigger event every quarter?" And we ran our first quarterly in December of 2023, 3? No, 24. We ran. No, it would have been 2023, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
And we ran our first quarterly regional to 36 people, I think, and have just continued to scale up. I mean, now every single, 3 times a year, our regionals sell out in a matter of hours, and we capped the place out at 128 in a local game store here in Massachusetts, all for a community format that, a lot of people don't even know exist. And we, for the past 2 years, have run LobsterCon, which is home to the North American Premodern Championship. It's been about 300 people each time, and we do all of this for fun. I guess to get back to my point, we aren't some giant company that is here to make money, and we're doing this as a hobby. We're doing this for the community, and I heard I heard somebody commenting on the Kickstarter at some point about like, well, they're trying to run a tournament, but without taking on any of the risk. And there's kind of that implication that like, yeah, you got to make some amount of risk for, if you want to make money, you gotta risk money to make money.
Right.
And we're not trying to make money.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point, is that like, we're not trying to risk money to make money, because we're trying to not risk money to not make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we haven't made any money so far,
No.
basically.
And I think that's pretty important, because, I mean, maybe you'd look at that and say, well, are you guys just stupid? Quite possibly, probably. But we're trying to do this for the community. We care about you guys. We care about this format. We care about Magic, and we care about having a good time. And I guess the major point for all of that I'm trying to say is that if this doesn't work out, that's kind of okay with us, because like it would suck, absolutely. But if if this Kickstarter campaign doesn't get funded, we can just go back to the Dante next year,
which is so much easier for us.
It is. It really is.
Like, it's infinitely easier. It's about a third of the size of what we're about to run. It's an undertaking that we have done before, and we know the ins and outs. We know exactly what we're getting into, whereas this has a lot of surprises and somewhat murky waters. So yeah, honestly, like, it would be insanely convenient for us to just continue to run things at the Dante and just have our events sell out in 90 minutes and have the
90 minutes.
Sorry, 90 seconds.
I think it might be 90 milliseconds.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
next year.
Yeah.
If we go back to the Dante, it's the popularity of Premodern, I don't think, is going down at any time soon.
No.
So it surely will be probably even faster.
Yep.
But if you don't want that to happen, dear listener, make sure you go to www.DuressFest.com and buy a ticket.
Yeah. That'll reroute you to the Kickstarter, which has a $100,000 goal. At the time of recording, we're actually at about 33,000 in the first
8 hours,
8 hours,
or 9.5 hours.
Yeah, so doing pretty good off of the bat, feeling pretty good about that. Why don't we talk a little bit about how we got the numbers and this budget?
Yeah, so like I said, talking to venues at the beginning, and clearly venues were going to be like in the probably $30,000 to $50,000 range. Like I said, the initial one that I quoted was like 63.
Yeah, I want to say that even shopping in Worcester was like $30,000, and that's not near an airport. And we think that is something that is going to be really crucial to this actually succeeding, is having somewhere that's easy to get to, easy to fly in and just be there, because we definitely would prefer to do Worcester. That's right in our backyard. That's our
Oh,
territory. But you would have to get off of a plane, take a bus to the train station, take a train into Worcester. Just a little bit more of a rigmarole and not like a major city. So,
for sure. Yeah, it's like you said, it would be so much easier to run it in Worcester, but I think that we know a couple hundred people that are like easily within, the couple hundred people that come to our regionals. We know they'll come to an event in Worcester, but the idea behind this is that like if we want to scale, I guess the so the number that we were capping at last year for LobsterCon was like 330. And it doesn't really make sense to go from spending $5,000 on a venue to spending $50,000 on a venue if we're scaling up from 300 to 400.
right.
Because it's like, all right, at that point, if we're 10xing our costs, those 80 people can just suck it up and not come. Like,
Yeah.
I hate to put it that way, but like the potential reward there for getting an extra 50 people in the door is just not worth 10xing our costs. So clearly, if we're going to scale up, we need to scale up
Yes.
to the point where we are actually hitting like a GP sized event. And those venues are going to be tough to get just in general. But I don't think we're going to hit that number if we're talking, 5, 6, 700 people. We're not going to hit that number of people that are local to Worcester.
Yes.
So we need to be making sure that we're getting people from all across the country and maybe even across the world that are coming out to this event. And if we have it somewhere that isn't a major travel hub, that really hurts that whole idea. So that's kind of why we're looking specifically in Boston. We want to keep it in Boston. It also does kind of carry on the tradition of LobsterCon, but obviously there's probably a lot of people that are listening that maybe tried to come to LobsterCon last year, maybe did come to LobsterCon last year, that are wondering, is this LobsterCon? Is this taking place of LobsterCon? Is LobsterCon still going to happen? And frankly, no. Well,
No.
maybe. So maybe being, is this campaign funded?
Yes.
So if we are successful and DuressFest is a go, then the plan is to not run a pre-modern LobsterCon next year. No comment about future years, but at least for our first year of running this event, it would be insanity to shoot ourselves in the foot by trying. Well, first off, there's no way that we're possibly running two giant events like this in the same year at all, just again as volunteers.
Yep.
That's a lot of work. But we also just don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot by having people be like, well, given the choice between a new event and LobsterCon, which I maybe already have been to in the past, a lot of people are just going to go back to the thing that they already know.
Right.
So we obviously don't want that. We need to try and direct all of those people to this event because otherwise it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And it's pretty safe to say that this is the spiritual successor of LobsterCon. It'll maintain a lot of the aspects of it, a lot of the vibes, but LobsterCon is David Firthbard's and Jared Doucette's baby and not ours.
For sure.
And we've been running, under their umbrella for the past couple of years, but we're looking to do something of our own. So
spread our wings,
Yeah, spread our wings and fly and do our own thing. Then this is our own thing. And we're going to take everything that we've learned so far and we're going to take everything that we can from LobsterCon and transport it and transplant it into this. But yeah, it was definitely time to change the name, change the branding, do our own thing because this is something new but maintains a lot of what the people have come to love.
For sure. And there's definitely some changes for the people that are familiar with LobsterCon. There's going to be some changes that just like have to happen. But a lot of the stuff that doesn't have to change won't change. The biggest thing and the most important thing are the vibes. Yeah. We want it to feel just the same as LobsterCon. Everybody is going to be in as good spirits as LobsterCon. Everybody's going to be as friendly, and we're going to absolutely make sure that the community feeling of everything is exactly the same. Because that's what ultimately Premodern is all about, is the community and is the gathering. There are some things that will have to change. Like, for example, probably something people are wondering is, what about the charity aspect? LobsterCon is a charity tournament.
Yes, all the proceeds of LobsterCon go to charity.
Exactly. Everything we take in, from the ticket sales to the raffle, the charity raffle, everything at the end of the day, we subtract out all our costs for the event, and then everything else gets sent to Room to Grow.
Which is why we don't have any money.
Which is why we don't have any money. For this event, we are looking to do things a little bit differently in that, first off, I mean, for the people that are like, well, why don't you just do it this way? Just up front, we did establish that the Kickstarter was like the best way to make sure that we didn't go underwater before we even ran the tournament. So you actually can't raise for money. You can't raise money for charity on Kickstarter.
Right.
That's just like a hard line rule that Kickstarter has. Besides that, we also don't want to be running a Kickstarter every single year. If this is successful this year and we wanted to run it again in 2028, which is now we're thinking way down the road, but if we did, we don't want to have to go through the whole Kickstarter thing again where we're sweating, not even knowing going into the, a 30-day campaign, are we running this event?
Right.
It would be so much easier to be able to just start like booking things early, getting things underway, and just knowing like, yeah, we're going to run the event again. So ideally, at the end of this event, anything that we have left over from ticket sales, that becomes our little
war chest.
Our little war chest, exactly, our little seed fund for putting, down payments on venues and stuff and securing dates for the next year.
Yeah, it's suffice to say that this isn't exactly how we want to be doing things right now. With like the venue is somewhat in limbo, although we have ideas locked in and we're pretty sure that we know where we're going, assuming that this succeeds in a timely manner and we're able to get the contract signed. And yeah, just kind of having like everything slightly in limbo and not exactly locked in, like not having the venue and the date pegged down is not exactly how we want to be running this. It's more how we are forced to be running this at the moment.
Exactly.
But if we can acquire this war chest, seed capital, whatever, going forward, then the whole process is going to get so much smoother and so much easier for you and for us.
It's like, once you get the ball rolling, the momentum is started, it will be a lot easier to keep it rolling than to start it up from zero every single year. So because of that, obviously, we can't call this a charity event if the actual money from ticket sales is not going to charity. So that's probably the biggest, like, comparatively difference between this and LobsterCon, is that this is not a charity event. This is an event that will have charity elements.
Yes.
We are definitely planning to try and do either a charity raffle or something similar, and we'll make sure to have more details on that in the future, but just know that it is absolutely going to happen. It's just the charity side of things is going to be a little bit more separated as opposed to just being lumped in with the lobster pot.
Yeah. And the charity raffle that we've run in the past generates the majority of the money that gets donated. So if everything goes to plan, there will still be a very generous, sizable donation made to charity. But as Jay said, it'll be slightly separated this year in the way that the money is flowing and working.
Exactly. Yeah, that's probably something that a lot of people don't realize, that like when it comes to costs or how much we take in and what our expenses are, we run, like, LobsterCon is run almost entirely, like we have a slight surplus at the end, generally like a couple $1,000 maybe.
Yeah, I'd say like 5-ish maybe if things go well. Like,
so,
but it's not a lot.
Yeah, and then we bring in, like last year we brought in what, 14 grand or something off the 13 grand off the charity raffle.
Yep.
And the final donation was like 18 or 19,000, I think.
Exactly.
So those are kind of the numbers, just so people can put things together in their head and know just how many dollars that we are pocketing personally.
0.
Spoiler, that number is 0. But so yeah, overall, Definitely going to be similar to LobsterCon. If DuressFest is not funded, we go back to LobsterCon. We'll have more details in near closer to the end of the year. That's not the ideal, but if that's what the community decides, that they don't want to go to this giant larger event, they would rather maintain just LobsterCon, maintain what we've done in the past, fine by us, and we'll run it like we did.
Yeah, have a nice big party that's super easy for us to manage.
Exactly, and that you are not invited to.
Yeah. So why don't we talk a little bit about the tiers of the Kickstarter?
Yeah. Excuse me. Actually, I'm gonna take a sip of water because I am parched. So run me through the prices, Brad.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot here. Why don't you run me through the prices? Wait, do I have them here? Okay, I got them. So event entry, $135, a very reasonable sum of money in my opinion. I actually wanted to go a little bit higher, but the idea is, to make it inclusive, to get as many people in as we can. So $135 gets you an admission ticket. That gets you entry into the event and also into the Premodern North American Championship. On top of that, you have the option of a crew map edition for $250. So if you got a crew of homies, you can show off how cool you are and stake your territory on a map. For $500, you get a copy of the crew map in color. And then we also are...
Or actually, no, sorry. Just to clarify, the crew maps aren't going to be... So actually, we can break down the... Actually, we'll come back to the crew map, but
okay.
Not exactly.
Okay.
But and then so yeah, $135 for the ticket, and then what's the other tier?
The other tier is the exclusive baseball jersey plus event entry.
Hell yeah.
Gets you a custom Duress Crew pinstripe jersey.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're gonna go with the pinstripes. Some people were very vocal against the pinstripes.
Yeah,
that was the sign of the dirty New York.
Exactly. Can't be doing that in Boston.
So I don't know. The design is definitely pending. I'm actually in talks with a manufacturer right now for some nice made in America jerseys that are hopefully pretty sweet. But yeah, hoping to get some test prints of those in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, so the jersey and the ticket entry are $350 and $135 for just the ticket. Yeah, let's talk about the add-ons. So it's not actually a crew map that like people are going to get printed out and like get personally.
Okay.
So the idea is going to be to do a giant like banner large installation thing that's going to have a giant map of not sure if it's going to be, depends on where people are donating from, but the US, the world, question mark, not sure.
Galaxy, perhaps?
The galaxy, correct, if we get any extraterrestrial donations. But I wanted to do something similar to like how if you ever go to like a industry convention or whatever, and you'll see like, oh, our corporate sponsors are, and they'll have like a bunch of logos of all the companies that sponsored the event. This is going to be that, but a crew map. So if you are in a group of homies and you guys want to help support community magic, then just anybody in the crew can add one of the two add-ons, either the black and white or the color. And that's going to get you a spot on this very large map. That's going to get I will reach out to people, get their crew logos, and then we'll do it in black and white for the 250 add-on, full color for the 500. And that way everybody that's in the event hall be able to look and see who supported and who helped really make this happen. Because ultimately this is a work of everybody. This is something that the entire community is trying to put together. So I really want to show how thankful we are to each of those different crews, because all the crews are amazing. And I've already seen a bunch of people hopping in with those add-ons, and already got some people that we're going to have to throw on the thing. Because as somebody actually, I think it was Kess, made a good point in the New England Premodern Discord, that any Massachusetts crews that pitch in are inherently going to be making the duress crew portion smaller. So like they're going to be cutting into our territory.
Yeah, we love
So
how we know how everybody loves to come for us in New
exactly,
England. Yeah,
exactly. So if you are especially a New England crew, or if you're in just like, oh, we're the you know the Midwest crew, and it's just all of the like non-coastal America.
yeah, yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, they have all the cornfields. But so that's going to be the whole idea behind the crew map. It's not terribly well spelled out on the Kickstarter page, but I've been telling some people about it, and everybody's had a really good reaction to it so far. So it is like, it's not going to get you something that's like really exclusive and cool. It is ultimately just a vehicle for crews to support us a little bit more.
Yeah.
If that means nothing to you, cool. That's
Don't buy
awesome.
it.
Don't buy it. But if you are in a crew, and again, also, this is not something that like everybody in the crew is expected to buy. This is like, if you got 10 homies, that's $25 a head. $25, it's gonna get you, your logo up on the wall for everybody to see. $50 a head gets you in color. So hopefully people want to chip in, want to support out us running this event, because I keep looking at that number and holy fuck, $100,000, that's a lot of money.
Sure is.
So I still can't believe that we've already gotten $34,000.
It just went up.
It did just go up, another person. So it's incredible what people seem to like the events. So it means a lot for us, and we love running them. So,
and I want to point out too, if you just want to support the project and chip in, you can also just make a donation of any size. Any amount helps us get over the finish line.
Very true.
You're not obligated to buy a ticket. Anybody that just wants to throw in and help us out and get us there and keep this thing in the community, then by all means.
Yeah, for sure. There is just the like pledge with no reward, and you can very easily click that and type in a bunch of zeros and then hit enter. So let's see, what else do we want to talk about?
How about we talk about some of the things that we
like want to talk about, some of the things we want to talk about, but or want to do.
Yeah, some of the things that we want to do but aren't written in stone yet.
Sure, yeah. So some of the stuff, everything here, this section has a big old asterisk next to it. Take everything we say with a grain of salt. This is not stuff that we are contractually obligated to provide.
Right.
But there are a lot of things that we have that, like, just whether it's because of the nature of the larger venue, the larger budget, the larger just size of the event by itself, there's a lot of cool stuff that I think we can do. One thing right off the bat that is another difference from LobsterCon, because this event is going to be so much larger, it's going to have a lot more setup. Now, because a normal event venue, the Dante, again, going back to how crazy the Dante is, and as much as I love it, it's insane that like they let us load in a day early and they don't charge us for that day.
Yep.
That is not how most venues operate. Most venues, you want to load in, you want, a day to load in, you're paying basically for a full extra day. So at that point, if we're paying for a full extra day to load in, bring in we got to set up, 100 tables or whatever, and all the everything, then we might as well open to the public and try and turn that day into something that we can at least use, make it usable. So we are intending to make this a 3-day event. Basically, Friday morning, we're going to load in and get everything all set up. And then sometime early afternoon, we'll open the event hall and people can come in. One thing that's actually huge is, just like LobsterCon, we'd love to have a bunch of artists.
Oh, we'll definitely have artists.
And people always, always, always struggle to get time at LobsterCon to like go hit the artists. People always go like right when they come in, and we're like trying to start the event and start the tournament. And people are like, but there's a line of 30 people deep at every single artist. So this gives people an extra day to actually like come get stuff signed. play in a couple of side events, play maybe some Magic that isn't just pre-modern.
Yeah.
We obviously this is going to be the main event is going to be the North American Premodern Championship, but I would love to hold some side events that are different formats, and if people want to play,
Classic Legacy.
I was going to say I know a lot of people in the crew right now have been digging Classic Legacy.
Yep. Old School is another one that I would like to have a side event for. There's a lot of crossover in that community.
Old School for sure.
Pauper.
I am a huge fan of Pauper and Vintage, which I know both of those are technically like quote unquote real formats.
Yeah.
I consider them almost to be more community formats at this point because it's not really Wizards proper that's holding either of them up.
Yep.
It's really just the communities that are the strongest. You see like the Paupergeddon and stuff, and Eternal Weekend being the real community events.
Team trios is another thing that we kind of tossed the idea around for.
I'd love to do team trios. Team trios is one of the best ways to play Magic. So regardless, throughout the weekend, there's going to be a lot of side events.
Yeah, we definitely want people to be entertained the whole time.
For sure.
And, especially if you scrub out of the event, you don't make day 2, 03 drop, whatever. We're going to try and keep you entertained the whole time.
Yeah, definitely the 2-day kind of GP style thing that we did at LobsterCon this year, I think went fantastic. And that was definitely, in a way, that was kind of a test for a larger event like this.
Yes.
And I think it went really well. What else?
Food trucks.
Food trucks. So food is something that is historically just sucks at conventions. Everybody has always had the convention just pretzel or whatever or hot dog, and it's just terrible.
Eternal Weekend, dude. Every year the food is so bad there.
Nobody enjoys eating at conventions, at like Magic tournaments. It's just not a good thing. We want to try and change that. We want to have like good food trucks that are providing not just shit meals, but like actually enjoyable, yummy stuff to eat. Also, similar to LobsterCon, I'm almost positive there's going to be like a full bar at any of the venues. So we're going to have like, if you want to get mixed drinks, if you want to get different beers, if you like whatever you want, it's not just going to be, tall boys of Bud Light or whatever, like at a convention center.
Yep.
What else were we thinking? Overall, there's so many cool things. And also, if anybody listens to this and is like, I have an idea for something that I've always wanted an event to do, and it's like not completely unrealistic, let us know.
Yeah, send all your ideas to Nick. Man, no, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Send them to Jay.
Yeah, send them to me. You can reach out to me on Twitter, on Discord, wherever. And yeah, let me know. But honestly, reach out to any of us. But try and reach out to me. Do not talk to Nick Mayo. That man is working hard.
Bogged down.
So yeah, I think that and community feedback is like one of the most important things. I think if people have ideas, if people have things that they want to see, they want to do, let us know. And we are I mean, if you're like, hey, I want there to be $1 million prize pool,
donate $1 million.
Yeah, donate $1 million. Then if if we get $1.1 million as a stretch goal, I'll make $1 million prize pool.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yeah. And because ultimately this event is for y'all. It's for the people attending and not for us. We're going to be working all weekend.
Exactly.
So yeah, this event is for you guys, and whatever you want to see there, let us know.
For sure. Actually, that does bring me to something that I do want to talk about. Another thing that I didn't really put in the copy for the Kickstarter page, because it's like kind of not set in stone, but stretch goals. I have 2 stretch goals in mind right now. One is going to be at 125,000. So I guess to kind of preface this, I should probably explain how I'm currently trying to book the venue. The venue that I'm talking with right now, which is a super, super cool venue. Hopefully I'll have more information for you guys soon.
That was one thing that I did want to say is that LobsterCon, the Dante, amazing, super cool, unique venue. The place that we're going this year, incredible.
It is so cool, so unique. Not locked in 100% yet, but like hopefully everything works out. But part of the way that I was able to negotiate the price down a little bit was by letting them choose the date. Basically, I'm going to give them a window and say, like, we can do any of these weekends, just, we can't do these weekends. You choose the date, and by like roughly the end of the year, they'll give us the date that we get, because they're going to wait so that they can book as many other events as possible. Because if a wedding comes in and says, I want this date in April or whatever, then obviously they want to be able to say, yes, that's fine. So they'll give us kind of the last choice of dates. If, however, we hit $125,000, I put in the campaign timeline that will probably have the date around the end of December. Instead, we hit 125,000. I'm going to book I will book a date within the first week. So if you are somebody who is really set about like, no, I really need to just like have a date locked in super early, and like I can only make plans a year out in advance, then make sure you tell your friends. Because if we can get to 125, we'll pay the extra, probably like $15,000 or $20,000, $25,000 to lock in that date immediately.
Hell yeah.
So it's something that, like, I think that even if we're not able to get the date until the end of the year, I think it will still be like, we'll be shooting for a spring time, so that's still at least like 3 months minimum that people are going to have to, get hotels booked, get flights booked, et cetera, et cetera. But if we're able to hit that stretch goal, we will we'll book it early, and people will have tons of time. Other stretch goal. Actually, let me double check some.
This is cool because this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Yeah, no, I knew there was going to be some stuff that you probably wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Let me just see. Okay, yeah. So the other thing that I am putting as a stretch goal, if we are able to raise $11.5 billion,
I think we're going to get there.
We will buy Hasbro.
Nice. I think we got that for sure.
I think we got that. We'll buy Hasbro, which will, Wizards of the Coast, subsidiary of Hasbro. And not only will we, I don't know, reprint Homelands, we will also destroy the reserve list.
Nice.
So
abolish
the reserve list. It will happen. We just need your small donation of $11.5 billion.
I can't imagine anybody not donating at this point.
So another thing, Kickstarter related, at the end of the campaign, the tickets currently, as we said earlier, $135. The price will increase. So tickets, if we are funded, tickets will continue to be available after the 30 days are up if we are funded. However, that ticket price will jump from $135 to $150. So you do have a slight incentive, even if you're not concerned about us getting funded, which that makes one of us, if that's true, because I'm really certainly concerned. But if you're trying to wait and see or whatever, there's going to be a little bit of a tax that you got to pay. But
and then the refunds.
Oh yes, and refunds. So obviously, in the case that we are kind of preparing for, which is that we're not going to know a date until later in the year, because again, that's how we're going to be able to afford a venue. It is obvious that some amount of people are going to contribute, buy a ticket, and then when we announce the date, it's just going to happen to fall on the date of your third cousin's sister's wedding, and you're like, oh no, I can't go. That was, a thing that I have to show up for. That's fine. Understandable. Not everybody will be able to make the exact same date. We're not going to magically pick the perfect day where everybody in the world is free. So we're going to make sure that refunds are available, full refunds for anybody up until, I think, like 30 days prior to the event. So if the event is, April 1st, 30 days before that, March 1st, that's going to be when refunds are allowed until. So you're going to have plenty of time after the event date is locked in to figure out if you can actually make it or not.
Yep. And also worth saying that if the Kickstarter doesn't succeed, again, refund.
Yeah, everybody gets their money back. That's the huge thing about Kickstarter, and one of the big reasons why we chose it, because if we were doing like through Melee or like, if Spice Rack was still around, then we sold tickets to everybody and we had some like kind of set minimum. I mean, first off, thankfully pre-modern players are pretty good, but I don't know if you ever look at like some of the Magic Spotlight series and stuff when it's like 2 days before the event and like 14 people have signed up.
Oh,
Like
wow.
Magic players are bad at signing
Yeah.
up for events like in advance, which I'm
guilty.
oh, I am too as well.
Yeah.
But like now that I've seen it from the TO side, I'm like, holy shit, like that's got to be scary.
Yeah.
To be like, oh yeah, we invested all this money and like 10 people have signed up.
Yeah.
Like obviously more people are going to sign up the night before or whatever, but like holy shit, that's scary. So thankfully pre-modern players are really good at that, at not doing that. But if we were trying to send or sell tickets through like a Melee or whatever and not enough people signed up that we had to just can the whole thing, we'd be like manually sending each person a refund and stuff. It just,
Yeah.
or we're just holding the bag or whatever. It would be really, really tough. So shout out Kickstarter for making this very easy.
Quality of life upgrade right there.
Yeah, for sure. And ultimately, like it makes it well worth the like 8% fee that we have to pay.
Right.
Which is, I guess if we want to talk a little bit of budget, I kind of had a breakdown. Let's see if I still have it somewhere.
I mean, I think we gave them a pretty
Yeah,
good idea.
yeah. It's, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that, I mean, I think everybody always like underestimates just how much you have to pay for.
Oh God,
and,
yeah.
It's easy to. It's really easy to just be like, oh, like, what do you even, there's the venue and like, what else?
Right. It's like the Dante is a sweetheart deal, and it's like, roughly $30,000 to run that event.
Exactly.
So scaling up exponentially like this is just like everything just costs a lot.
Yeah. Just like some of the stuff really quick that like, security, all the table rentals, just like badges and lanyards, some amount of prize pool. Obviously, this not being a pure charity event, I would like to have some amount of prizing. It's not going to be a Pro Tour GP, $100,000 in prizing.
But it'll be juiced compared to your first place survival of the fittest.
Exactly. It'll be juiced compared to how in what you have to at least top 4 to make your money back or whatever at LobsterCon. We're hoping to have a bunch of judges. To run any event of this scale, you need to have a lot of staff, a lot of judges, and that actually is something that. And then just to round it out, a couple other things before I start talking about staff merch. If we want to do like some cool day of merch and stuff, we got to put down payments on purchasing. Getting a bunch of stuff, inventory printed and everything.
Yep.
And then we'd also like to run a stream for it, just because that is one of my joys personally. And overall, there's also a ton more stuff that I'm not even including, but tons of stuff that will go in. My like rough budget was, I kind of had like a low estimate and a high estimate, and it was from roughly 75,000 to 125,000. So it's like, I think at the end of the day, we average everything out, we'll probably end up being right around that 100,000, which is kind of where I got the number.
Yeah.
Hopefully some of it will be less, and hopefully it isn't a lot more.
Right.
But one thing I do want to talk about though, staff. Typically, we run LobsterCon as like, we kind of ask everybody in the crew and be like, hey, who wants to volunteer? Who's not trying to play? And we're able to get a bunch of people. Everybody pitches in, varying amounts. Some people do a shit ton of work and are just working, 4 nonstop or 3 nonstop 12-hour days. Other people are pitching in a couple hours here, a couple hours there. And it's all appreciated. To run an event of this size, we're like the man hours is going to have to scale up dramatically. And I hate having to ask that many people to do volunteer work. Now, obviously, we said before that nobody here is like profiting off this event. We're not getting paid salaries. We're not, paying ourselves to run this event. I do, as like a quality of life thing, I would like to be able to provide some amount of payment for my staff running the day-to-day stuff, for all the people that are, looking to volunteer their work. And I know that these people will, I mean, a lot of people, I know entire crews would come out and like, they'd pay money to help out and like help make this event go smoothly. And I appreciate the hell out of that, but it's also just not fair.
Yeah.
Like it's something that's really tough that and even if it's just a couple $100 or whatever, or just even if it's just providing lodging and food for people in the terms of, in the form of some kind of what do you call it?
Like a stipend?
Like a stipend, like a food stipend and a housing stipend. I think that's at like a bare minimum fare.
Yeah.
For all of us that are like behind the scenes planning the whole thing, none of us are getting paid for, the hours that we spend outside of the event. So I just want to make sure that that's like very clear that like, no, this is all just volunteer work to put this together. Day of, though, I do want to be able to pay, because I also like don't think it's 100% fair that like we're asking, judges to work 40 hours or whatever over the course of a weekend, but then we have other people that we're also asking to work 40 hours, and we're paying one but not the other. And
right.
I just want to make sure that everybody's treated equitably, and that because it's a very fine line between community support and community exploitation.
Yes.
So making sure that we walk that fine line in a way that is equitable to everybody.
I'm going to start a union.
There you go.
Podcast shutdown.
No! Shit.
We were so close.
We were so close. So yeah, so that's some of the stuff that we want to do, some of the stuff that we're hoping to do. Let's see. I've gotten like very few questions so far today about the Kickstarter, which I think is a good sign.
I think so.
Like, I think that it means that like all the people that are donating or backing are like reading through the page and reading the FAQ and are confident about everything. But like, I don't know. It also it's a little alarming because I was very much expecting to be, because I know like Nick in the past, like during LobsterCon signups and stuff, he gets like swarmed with messages.
Yeah.
So praise.
This is also a much slower pace though.
It is.
Like
it is.
Yeah. Like this is going to go on for a month. This is not the 90 seconds of insanity. So yeah, the pace is a lot better for everybody.
For sure. It's not having to worry about like the event selling out in seconds to minutes is very nice.
Yep. And there's really
stressful.
no cap as well.
Yeah, so that is something that I guess I can talk a little bit to, is that like there is a cap. So the venue that I'm looking at right now, that's kind of our first choice. Again, haven't signed any contracts, not locked into anything yet. I want to say that there would be a cap somewhere around 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Which is a shit ton of people, and if we get that, then we're well past funded. If that happens and we were to break about 1,000 people, I could just always pivot to a larger place, like the Boston Convention Center would probably be the big one to look at after that, which, I mean, that's where, like, if anybody's been to PAX East, that's like where that's held.
Yeah.
Obviously, that place is freaking huge. That place could hold a massive convention, and, that could hold a cap of, like, 5,000 people or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, numbers that you're never hit. I mean, we'd be the largest Magic event ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't even get 1,000, to be honest.
No, yeah. So it's, I don't think we're like having to worry about a cap is anywhere even close to reality. But if it did, we could very easily pivot and, expand. But yeah, it's likely not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
It would be a slightly less cool venue, though. So.
Right. Very excited about what we have lined up.
Oh, it's so cool. I'm excited to go tour it. But anyways, with it, anything else that we had?
I don't think
in the notes. I think we're.
What are we at on time right now?
About 50 minutes.
Yeah. I think that we pretty much covered all the ground that I was looking to cover. I think that things should be pretty clear for our audience. Hopefully, there's people listening to this podcast who have not been to LobsterCon before and came across the Kickstarter in whatever way and were interested in it and gave this a listen. We would definitely love to have new people joining us in addition to the regular faces that we're accustomed to seeing. I do want to say that for anybody that follows us on socials, like absolutely please share and repost like tweets, forward messages, tell your friends, like spread the word as far as you can, because it's really hard to get things promoted online, and we can use all the help that we can get in filling this out and hitting 100K.
Absolutely. Everything in, whether it's social media or, like Kickstarter specifically, everything is so momentum based. So it's like, if you can just get people to just share things a little bit more, to just like push a little bit harder, and then that snowballs very quickly. Obviously, we've had tremendous success with our events growing and stuff over the past several years, but this is obviously taking everything to a whole nother level.
Yep.
And so yeah, so if you have friends that maybe like you've started getting hooked into pre-modern, or you have friends that you think might like pre-modern, build a couple extra decks, show them, get people into it, because I think what LobsterCon was for myself and for a lot of other people, and what I'm convinced that this event will continue to be in the future, is that like once you really get a taste of the community and the format and just how much love everybody has for the gathering, it really hooks you really quickly.
Yeah, it's a special thing for sure.
It definitely is. I still remember my first LobsterCon and just being like, this was amazing. And just like all the friends, how awesome everybody is, and
meeting a ton of people that you talk to online or play on MTGO or whatever.
For
so
sure.
Cool.
And just like being like, yeah, this is cool. I'm gonna come back to this. So looking forward to seeing everybody at DuressFest in 2027.
Hell yeah. Yeah, anything coming up in the future? I know that we have the Andy Vollmer interview coming up. He just won our most recent regional with Blue White Standstill.
Yes. So Vollmer interview should be happening and will be uploaded as the following episode to this. And then other than that, I think we do have a couple of shout outs to give real quick.
Or I think we'll do those next time.
Do those next time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, never mind. Fuck all of y'all.
Yep.
The only shout out I'll give is to us, to the DuressFest, and to you, dear listener, who is helping make this all a possibility.
Yep. Please sign up. Please share. It's going to take a village to make this thing work, and if it doesn't work, then I guess we're going back to what we've been doing potentially, or who knows? Yeah. Who knows what the future is going to be?
Or if you think you can run a better event, you know what? Take it. Take the name. Just you do it. Fine. Fuck you.
I would love to go to an event.
And actually, I will say, wait, what was I going to say? I already forgot. Never mind. Something. Nah, it's yeah, it does take a village. It's a good way to put it, and we need people to open up their wallets and give me all their money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get rich. Bitch.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
Sweet. I think that was perfect.